Okay, if you're a Libra born September 23rd to October 22nd, what can you expect for the month of April 2017? Let's tune in and find out. So Libra, I feel like in the beginning of the month, like your nose is to the grindstone. Like you've got a project, you've got something that you're trying to finish. I also feel like you may be sniffing out new ideas or new conversations. I also feel like some of you are nurturing. Some of you may be like just being tired and are sort of trying to self-soothe, maybe over some disappointments that you've had over the last 6 months. But I do feel like you're moving forward and you're trying to find your way. But I sort of see you staying low to the ground, at least in the beginning of April. Then it feels like, it feels like about April 9th or 10th, you start to sort of pick your head up. And it just feels like there's more understanding, more conversation. There may be some stuff that happens with the retrograde. We have a couple retrogrades happening this month. I do want to point out that the Venus retrograde ends April 15th. So yay. So that planet that directly supports Libra, the planet of love, is going direct. And so you'll have that to be able to support you in all areas of your life, business and romance. And then Mercury retrograde starts April 9th to May 3rd. And of course, that's the planet of communication. A lot of times our electronics go a little screwy. It also affects, contracts and things like that. So you want to be careful. If you don't have to sign a contract, try not to. If you do have to sign one, just make sure you double and triple check everything that you do. And then, of course, there's that little bit of overlap with the Venus retrograde and the Mars retrograde for that 4 or 5 days that they're both retrograde. But then as they go direct, it could actually bring in romance back into your life. So as we're talking about that, let's focus on romantic relationships. And we have, for those of you that are committed romantic relationship, one last thing, we have a Saturn retrograde that starts April 6th to August 26th. And that's where we review our relationships. And we actually look more on our long-term goals. We'll actually look and see what is more satisfying or fulfilling to us. We'll actually see new solutions to old problems. So, I used to do it like this and now I want to handle it like this. So we kind of like revamp ourselves, and we also kind of look and see how we're manifesting our work in the world, how we live and how we show up in the world. And so these next couple of months, not just Libra, but everybody is going through this kind of like change and morphing into their next best self. Let's hope that's what we do, right? So that's with the retrograde, that's what's possible for us to kind of like really, perk up and not be afraid to move forward and do the things that we want to do. And actually mid-May is going to be a great time to do that, because when Mercury goes direct May 3rd, we'll have the support of Venus and Mercury, right, to be able to move forward. So that's good. All right, so let's go now to relationships. For those in a coupled romantic relationship, what can you expect for the month? So there's a little bit of tension is just what I want to say. Going on maybe potentially in your household. It could be just about different points of view, whether you're arguing over paint color or, what color, whether we buy a roof now or wait till next year or just patch it. There just feels like the little domestic things that you may be not on the same page about, little squabbles. But I do feel like by mid-month, especially that mid-weekend, there's a lot of clarity that comes in April 14th, 15th. There's a lot of clarity, there's a lot of compassion, a lot of love, and a real union. I know that's also, Good Friday and Easter weekend. So there's this really kind of like resurrecting of love that's available for you in your relationship. So I really feel like that's a great weekend where communication sort of opens up. Which is a little bit, interesting, because it's a little bit counterintuitive, because Mercury retrograde, starts where April 9th, so communication can be hampered, but the Venus retrograde is there to support. So even though the Mercury retrograde is happening, because we haven't had Venus for such a long time and it's now coming back in, or it feels like a long time, it's only been, like 6 weeks? But even though it comes back in, we're going to feel better. So Libras, you're just going to start to feel better from April 15th on. You're going to have more energy. You'll just feel like you're more awake. You'll feel more present. You'll feel more in love. So even though the Mercury retrograde is still there, it's not going to feel anything as bad as the Venus retrograde, because that's, the planet that really rules you. So it's going to feel better. Okay, so your relationships are going to you may even find that you have some impromptu trips come up. And you may even find yourself taking day trips and just kind of like really loving on your partner. So it feels like it's great for your romance, especially the last 2 weeks of the month. In the beginning, the first 2 weeks, you may feel a little picked on. You may feel a little bit like you're not getting your way. Your partner's not listening, relationship stuff. Okay, so now those of you Libras that want to be in a romantic relationship, what does April have in store for you? So I feel like, you're kind of hanging out solo, or just kind of feeling your way through things, trying to break the ice, just getting to know maybe some people around you, or just kind of venturing out. I don't really see things heating up until actually there's a new moon in Taurus, April 26th. And I feel like that you could actually have a new party that you're invited to, or a new group of friends come in. Or it could even be, because we're in the retrograde, Mercury retrograde at the time, could be you get invited to some old friends, or old friends come to town, and with them they may have some new people that they want to introduce you to, right? And because we have Venus moving forward in your love life, I wouldn't be surprised if you meet somebody new at that end of April. And, you'll kind of get a better understanding about them as Mercury goes direct May 3rd. You'll be able to see more things about them and whether or not it's really a good match or not. So just enjoy yourself. And that end of April, you're going to feel more social, and you'll have more opportunities to meet people and to date and to do the things that you love. Okay, so now let's look at your career for Libras. What can you expect for April? So for some of you, it almost feels like there's an anvil on your foot, like you've dropped the ball and it's like you're feeling stuck. And, if you're feeling stuck, be where you are. Be stuck, right? Okay, so if I'm stuck, what do I need to do right now in this moment to get unstuck? What is keeping me from moving forward? So I feel like these retrogrades are going to have you stop and look and say, wait a second, things aren't happening for me out there because I have so many incompletions here. I don't have this done, I don't have this done, I don't have this done, right? So do the things that you need to do. And April's going to be that month for you to be able to kind of like really put your nose down and get it done. And whether that's writing, whether it's creating, whether it's finishing a project, whether it's looking for a job, whether it's, creating a business plan, lining up the money, talking to people, whatever it is, you've got to crawl before you can walk. So, and I feel as you do that, that anvil just kind of like disappears. It just is gone. So by the end of April, I feel like you're just really ready to soar and really ready to put your work out into the world, or new jobs and things like that could happen. It feels like the end of April. You could actually have some lucky things happen with your career. There's a full moon in Libra, April 10th, if you're on the West Coast, like in Los Angeles where I'm at, or April 11th, depending on your time zone. So there's this Libra full moon, and that full moon could bring to you acclaims, awards, opportunity to travel. It could bring in a new contract for you. It could bring in also revisiting. There could also be other, like somebody that you've known in the past, a business that you've worked with in the past, a company that you've worked in the past, that they've thought about some new things, and maybe it didn't work out the way you thought it had worked out, but they come back around with another offer. Well, wait, we want to use you over here. We want to do something with you here, right? So there may be a coming back around of a partnership for you around that Libra full moon, and that would actually be fine. Just make sure you look at the contract, what you're signing, if they ask you to sign something, because you're in a retrograde. But there could be a new job for you from a company that you used to work for in the past. So if you're looking for a new job, or just more money, there's that opportunity around that full moon. And then again towards the end of the month with the new moon, being able to put out new connections to people, new opportunities. So don't hold yourself back. So with money, you could even attract some big money this month, like shocking big money, like, wow, okay, so why didn't I think of that before? It doesn't matter why you didn't think of it before, you thought of it now, right? It's that kind of thing. It's like, why didn't I do that before? Part of this is coming from the Saturn retrograde, April 6th, that Saturn's not there, taming you, teaching you a lesson. And so you've got new ideas and new information coming in that can support you with long-term and how you're manifesting your life. So you may get some great ideas these next 3 months, April 6th to August 26th, that's really going to help you like really soar and remove any fear or doubt that you have about getting it done. So this is a great time for you to be able to be creative and confident. That's what you're moving into this April 6th through the summer here. A lot of confidence restored, a lot of sensibility about what works for you, a lot more freedom to say no, a greater ability to have boundaries, no to you, yes to you, because you know yourself better. And because you know yourself better, you're no longer going to have to feel like you're that people pleaser, right? I don't have to do everything that everybody else wants me to do. And you can handle it in a way that you do it with grace, that you don't have to, be an ogre about it, right? And so I feel like you just find a new inner strength, Libra, that's coming up that you're going to discover here in April. And you're just going to have some work to do, inner work. So there's inner work to do and there's outer work. So I do feel like some of you will maybe going to some sort of event this month. Maybe it's a weekend couple seminar. Maybe it's a weekend event for yourself. Maybe it's you're seeing a new therapist or psychiatrist, or you've invested in a new self-help program or transformation program. This is the perfect time to do it these next couple of months. And you're really going to go in and clean house and become stronger. And so you're going to have a stronger spiritual connection if you pursue it, Libra, which means when you have a stronger spiritual connection, your intuition is going to awaken. You're just going to be, in sync. So lots happening, and Libra, we also, right now, we've got Jupiter on our side, right? For a couple of more months till October 13th, I think it is. So, we got to get with it. We're going to use that planet to our advantage. So get everything out of the way that's stopping us from really producing amazing results, because April is a great month to work on ourselves and complete everything around us that needs to be done. So the second half of the year, June forward, we can be out in the world, we can be seen, we can be busy, but right now, these next kind of 6 weeks or so, you want to handle the things at home. Okay, because I see you guys just taking off, come June, July, August, September, October. There's just a lot of travel. There's just like, I see you just like really traveling. So you really need to be doing a lot of the things that you need to be doing that's going to support that travel. Okay. All right. So now let's look. It sounds like fun, huh? All right. So now let's look at our health for Libras. Oh, and I'm supposed to tell you the money will be there for you to travel too. So if you want to travel, the money will be there if you take the time in April and mid-May to do what you need to do in handling work and also working on internally on yourself. Okay, more money will come. The more money will show up in your life because you're removing the obstacles. You're removing the physical work that needs to be done around you. You're getting it done, and you're removing the emotional blocks that say you're not worthy, or you're not smart enough, or you don't have to know the right people, or who's going to pay me that much money. You're erasing all those doubts and those old beliefs that don't serve you anymore. Okay, so if you're not involved in something, get involved in something that's going to change your life. And if you don't or haven't read my book, The Little Book of Big Promises, I encourage you to do that, because when you're evaluating your life, what comes up for us is our history, our past. And in the Little Book of Big Promises, it has you take your 9 of your life experiences and you work a 3-step process with it. You know how when you show up and something's bad in your life and you get through it and you're forever changed? Well, this book helps you reevaluate and see where your strengths are. And then if you have any remaining blockages or pain or suffering about any event, on my website are free meditations that go with the book. Okay, and the book, you can find it on my website, or you can go to hayhouse.com and buy it, or you can buy it on Amazon, or you can go to any local bookstore. But it's called The Little Book of Big Promises. Okay, so let's go back to our health now for Libras. So one of the things, this is interesting, one of the things that you're going to want to be working on this month is patience. And patience for a couple things. As you change, right? As we change or modify our eating behaviors, our exercise routine, our patience with people, it takes patience to let those modifications really do what they need to do. So let's say we've just chosen to start to eat different, or we started to pay attention to how we feel when we eat food, certain kinds of food and how we respond to it, or we've changed our exercise program, or we've changed just our thoughts. You're being asked to have patience this month because it takes patience to have those good habits, one, developed and cultivated, and then two, to actually manifest long-term results. So just have patience with yourself this month with the implementation of these changes that you've had. Just stay the course and you're going to feel a lot better. So let's see if anything else about Libra for the month, any surprises for them. Oh, I like this. You're going to be surprised how much freer and happier you're going to feel. Even with these changes that you're making, it reminds me of, how they always talk about kids, and when you let kids just do whatever they want, they get cranky, they get tired, they get sick because they've eaten all this candy and they've stayed up late and they're just like, wah. And, but when we get them in order and we feed them right and we let them go to bed at a decent hour, they're happy, they're productive, and they're exciting and they're cheerful. Well, this is how you're going to be. So as you make these changes, by the end of April, you are going to be so happy and you're going to feel so free, and you're going to really feel like, wow, I'm finally doing this. This is not it's not like the get quick rich scheme, or it's not like the 30-day diet. I'm actually just making lifelong changes. And I feel like Libra, because you have Jupiter in your energy field now, you have the opportunity to make these lifelong changes. So whether you have an addiction that you're up against, whether it's food, drugs, sex, whatever the addiction is, gambling, you can get help for that. And you should get help for that. And you're going to feel so good by the end of the month because you're going to really have tapped into this higher spiritual consciousness of being able to self-guide your life in a way that feels really productive. So don't be afraid. Take the first step, whatever that means for you, and get on board and take care of yourself, because when you do that, it's going to affect all of your life everywhere, and you'll just be hitting on all cylinders, and you're going to look better, you're going to feel better, you're going to seem smarter and brighter to people. Your radiance is going to be able to project farther, so that means you'll be able to touch more people's lives. So it's really terrific, and I'm going to take my own advice. All right, because it seems like that's what Spirit's supporting us with this month. All right, Libra, thank you so much for viewing and watching and listening, and I hope you like my intuitive astrology. And if you do, please share it with your friends. Please feel free to comment below. I love to read them and answer you back when I can. And I look forward to connecting with you again next month. Have a terrific April, everyone.